Email.com.
Testing, 1, 2.
Welcome, everyone. I didn't say that. That is a weird delay, but it's so good to see everyone. We're almost here. It's almost here. The Hamfest is here, and we're getting ready to talk about our final discussions on the banquet and the Hamfest and how we're going to man that. So I'm glad to see a good crowd here. We've been missing a few people in the past several months, and it's good to see everyone back out. And welcome to friends, family, and contesters and whoever else. My wife actually is with me. She's sitting over yonder, kind of hidden, and you can't see her from here. But I've been going through this kidney stone thing, so she didn't think I needed to drive. I'm not sure where it is right now, but anyway, I'm making it fine, and good to see you out. I do have a member application of a ham that we need to vote on tonight. So I'm going to welcome Randy Umfleet, Kilo November 4, Yankee Bravo Alpha. He's over here, as you can see. And Randy, can you stand up and tell a little bit about yourself? Because we need to vote on you. We got a hand microphone to hand you.
Hello, Randy, Kilo November 4, Yankee Bravo Alpha. Been a ham for maybe 5, 6 years. I think I got my extra maybe 3 years ago. I love HF, it's my favorite. But I live in HOA, so I struggle with that. But I've made some decent contacts, so thanks.
Okay, thank you, Randy. Man after my own heart, he says his favorite DX activity, low band. So we'll get along just fine. Anyway, do I hear a motion to accept Randy into the club? Got a second? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, Randy, welcome to the North Alabama DX Club. You're an official member. Also, we have some folks online that I didn't acknowledge. Eric, Will, Chuck, and we also have a visitor from Canada, Victor Alpha 3, Japan, India, Charlie, that's going to watch the program that Steve has brought, according to Michael. So we welcome him to our meeting tonight. Mentioning that, Steve will be presenting our program at the appropriate time, AG4W. He recently went to Europe, wow, to Friedrichshafen Hamfest. And what you're going to hear from him tonight is how they do Hamfest. And you'll be able to deduce how you know how we do it, and you'll be able to deduce the difference there and maybe be explicit and point that out for us. So anyway, we're glad that he stepped up to the plate to bring us the program tonight. The first thing I like to do is look at the DX worked. We're going to try to get through a lot of this because we got some discussions on the banquet and the Hamfest that we need to look at. Rodney, AK4PR, was skilled enough to work Victor VK9DX, Norfolk Island, Tango Yankee 5, Benin, and Victor Papa 2, Victor. And I worked, I don't know when, but Charlie 9 and Tango Oscar 3 Kilo. That was Mayotte Island. I think they're gone now. Rob worked, NN4NT worked 9K2, TY5, Charlie 21, and 3 Zulu 9. Fred, K3FRK worked, Echo Papa, that's Iran. That's a good one, tough one. OJ0 Market Reef. Randy, KN4YBA, our newest member, worked, Papa Victor, I believe that's right. And Slovenia, I believe, is like a sugar 5 or something like that. Jared, KQ4VT, worked ZL. Rare. Yeah. And that's all we have this month. But I do know that I looked at my log, and I'm telling you what, I just only have a couple of handfuls at most of of anything that I worked since last meeting. It's just things have been happening, and I'm sure that's the same with you. So anyway, congratulations to all of that, DX. And here in the coming months, we're going to be seeing some good stuff coming up, especially Bouvet, I believe, Peter Island, and Steve's going to 3 Charlie 2 Mike Delta, Equatorial Guinea. And there was a couple of more that I wanted to mention. There's a VU4 X-ray Andaman Islands coming up in October. And those are the only ones that come to mind right now. But anyway, it should keep us busy here in a few months when things start getting a lot harder on the bands. The meeting minutes were printed in the August long path. Who actually read the long path or looked at the long path? Well, that's good. Good to see several hands. I thought there were some good articles. Steve had one on how to damage an antenna, and Rob had one on how to operate meteors, which was educational for me because I'd never done that. And we're in the peak of it tonight, I believe. So if pull out your long path, read how to do it, and get on the air tonight and tomorrow night. I think it'll probably proceed them through tomorrow night. So good articles there. There was another article, and I can't think what it was. Escapes my mind. Actually, I can look right here. Do what now? Oh, Barry Johnson. He wrote something on what an interference. It was on interference because I started looking at that. Yeah. So those were 3 good articles, and we appreciate those articles. And again, we invite you to write articles anytime you can, because like I say, Rob's helped me. You know, all of us don't know everything. So we want to help each other. And that's what we're part of. That's what we're all about. So do I hear any a motion to approve the minutes from the minutes you read in the long path from last month? Okay, we have Don made a motion, and Michael seconded. All in favor? Any opposed? Also in the long path was the financial report. Bob, did you have anything you wanted to say about the financial report? We'll give you the microphone.
Yeah, Bill, you'd be better off finding the right screen to put up there. We've had a lot of transactions this month. I don't want to go through any of them, but let me see what we have here. Trying to keep track of each and everybody that buys a ticket on PayPal. You gotta be kidding me. We had something like 59 transactions this month.
Wow.
If you, the recurring expenses for dues has pretty much dried up. But down there, pulling the banquet area, that's go up a little bit so you can see what happened in the banquet area. There, yeah. So you can see a lot of the things are happening. I tried to show you what we had originally planned for in the first column. The second column is where we are chasing that budget so far this year. And that third column is what has happened this month. that $2,457 it came in 52 different transactions, and trying to keep track of those. Oh boy, I feel sorry who's going to take my place next time. When we get the museum here, we pay something like $800. It's up there somewhere. You'll find it probably before me. 700, yeah, $700 is what it cost us. When we went out to other restaurants, it was costing 2.5 times that much. But then the other hand, I didn't have to pay for the insurance like what we do here, and you had to pay what, $5, $6, $7 for a drink. Here we give them away. I'm about to go and buy the wine, beer, and soft drinks tomorrow. I hope I'm doing the right thing. I think, Bruce, as I looked at it, we're going to be spending about $60 on wine, about $60 on beer, and about $50 on soft drinks. Does anybody have issue with those numbers? That's what I think I'm looking for. We went over to Costco yesterday with Mom. She knows better than me about all this stuff. All I do is salute and do. But over there about by the DX banquet line, I have a number there sort of towards the left saying I was planning on making about $730 on the banquet this year. We'll see. I'm going to have a big negative number there, about $2,500 tomorrow when I pay Bubba. We'll see how this thing all works out. After I pay him the $2,500, it looks like maybe we'll make $730. I put $5,000 into a CD last year so I could try making a little bit of money. I didn't want to have a whole lot of lazy money here, but somehow the numbers keep going up. We have $11,000 in the account right now. And it looks like, if we end the year with $10,000 and you think I should be put more money into a CD, let me know. Also, if you think that we should be spending more money on supporting de-expeditions, let me know. And I'll go talk that over with Bruce and see if we can get in a place where we can drive the train where we're trying to get it to. That's all.
Okay, thank you. I was just looking at the numbers and the budget, budgeted numbers, you're pretty close to them as far as I'm concerned.
Now, I originally started out the year by planning to lose $250 at the end of the year. You can see that it's right at the bottom, near the left. Asset delta was 251. That was my plan. I was trying to run us into the ground, and so far I've been unable to do so.
All right. Any questions for Bob? Do I hear a motion that we approve the budget? John made the motion, second was Mike Rozier. All in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed? None? Can't see the folks online, so I assume that they're good with it. So the financial report is approved. What I'd like to do next is just jump into the slides that I had, Billy. One thing I wanted to say, though, that gets into old business is, the repeater was having some issues. And Kelly was I just letting her know that, and Steve, you can correct me. You and I are usually the ones on it a lot, and Chuck Lewis, I know. The repeater still seems to have the problem. And so she is going to check again with the NARA maintenance group to make sure that they're on top of that. So we'll give her that opportunity to do that, and hopefully that'll be corrected soon. So we're getting into the slides. Okay. Okay. So what I've done here is I wanted to let you know from the ARRL who's going to be attending our banquet, and Bob's generated a great list of all of the attendees that's really detailed. But for your sake, I wanted to let you know that Dave Minister, the CEO, will be here. The first vice president, Christy McIntyre, K6WX. Of course, Bob Interbitson is usually always supports us, Director of Marketing and Innovation, NQ1R. And I talked to him again this morning, and he confirmed a few of these names right here that I didn't have. And he's eager and looking forward to meeting with you guys again, being here for the banquet. Steve Goodgame, N5ATA, the Education and Learning Manager, will be here with his wife, K5CYN. And Kevin Bill, I don't know him. Bob knew him, the Director of Development. And some of you probably know more of most of these people better than I do, especially these here that I've never met. So I'm looking forward to meeting them. And if you have anything you want to talk to them about, this is the time to do it. And I will give Dave Minster a few minutes to talk about a subject. You know, when he was here before, we hit him on LOTW when it went down. And so I'm going to try to think of something to get him to speak about just for a couple of minutes. And if you have any ideas, let me know. I'd like to make sure that we're all content with that. All right, next slide. I've got that here, don't I? Okay. So I went through the silent key equipment that we have, and I went out to qth.com, eham.com to try to come up with some numbers. I needed a couple of a little help right on these right here, because I'm really not sure about those. But we've got a couple of power supplies here, and these seem to be in line with what's selling online. If you see anything here that looks out of ordinary, speak up and let me know. I do want some suggestions on this price here, and perhaps on this transceiver here. The other ones are in line. These three here were W1 WSF, Jim and Jill, who live up in my area. They're members that joined late last year. They provided this equipment here and said, "Hey, I got this from a ham," and they said to either sell it or do something with it. And he said he had no way to reach people, that he thought this would be the best venue. So he actually gave that to me. And these are all in boxes. Kenwood MC50 microphone that fits, like, I think that's a 530, 520 or 530, I guess a 530, because he had the AT230 also in a box and an SP230 speaker in a box that we're going to go ahead and add to this and sell it to get money for the club. So we thank Jim and Jill for providing that for us. Next slide. Okay. You might want to back up a couple just so the guys online can see that. First couple there. Oh, okay. All right. All right. Go to the next one. Is this it? Oh, okay. So here's the prizes that we have to date. Some of us have been working on some of these, and I didn't know the exact details on some of these. Barry worked with radio, did he? And he said he received is that an HF rig or a QRP rig, or what is that? Handheld 5-watt? Okay, okay. And then Gold Medal Ideas is going to bring something for us at the Hamfest How Sounds is provided. I already sent these to Barry, books and T-shirts.
Bringing stuff to the.
Okay,
RT
so we're going to
Systems
get some from
mail
RT Systems.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're mailing it. Went in the mail Friday.
Okay. I wasn't sure about this. This is what Barry provided me. Cubic quad, Tenadyne, something about Bob working with them to get, and then get something. Do you know? Is that right? Or is that wrong?
That's true, yeah. I'll find the guy I'll find the guy Friday. And I'll update you exactly what it is.
Okay, great, great. I've been working with HRO in Atlanta. I called the store manager, Daniel, on several occasions. And he keeps waiting on the national sales folks to provide him a response to that. And I've given him great detail of what we're all about, and that we do this every year. And so anyway, I think I finally convinced him. I've got to call him tomorrow at noon to see if they will approve of them handing something to us at the Ham Fest. Some items, hopefully. We did receive two $100 gift certificates from DX Engineering, two $50 gift certificates from the ARRL. So that's where we stand right now. And the rest of our door prizes are going to come as we've done in the past. Steve Warner and his team, we hope, can help us out tremendously. And that brings me to the next slide. Next slide. So here is the volunteer work list that I have right now. In order to make this thing successful, folks, we've got to be able to volunteer some of our time. So what I have here, first item, I'm going to go through each one of these because this is important that we have these manned. Of course, Steve and Fred are going to be working the NADXC booth, checking cards. Last year we had, I think, Jim Clifford helped you guys with receiving the application and processing it while you guys went and checked the cards, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. And so we need a volunteer. I don't have a volunteer to help you right now. And another thing is we may have a few leftover. We may have a few available banquet tickets that we'll want to sell. And did I word that right, Bob?
Yes. Right now, we're at 98. We have sold 98. Yeah, I'm going to set up 104 chairs. So if anybody needs to buy a ticket right now, I'm going to go to Bubba tomorrow. I'm going to buy meals from him. And once I do that, it's over with. So if anybody here wants one, or let me know. It looks from 98 to 104. That's 6 more tickets that could be available.
Okay, but the reason we do that is because we've had so many people that come to the table in the past that have asked, do you have any banquet tickets? Do you have banquet tickets? And we think we can sell 6. 6 is nothing. If we have to, sometime during the day, Saturday, we'll go to the announcer and say, hey, will you announce that the NADXC Club has banquet tickets available tonight? First come, first serve, come to the NADXC table. So I feel confident that we can sell them.
Yeah, Bruce, I'll just mention, if anybody here wants any, tell Bob tonight, because we took
Right.
off the sales on the website. So
Exactly.
Bob has to know.
I think you're saying go for max. So that's what I'll do when I see Bubba tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll go for max.
Yeah, I thought I would. Okay. So do we have anybody here tonight that is willing to sit with these guys for what do you say, Bob and Steve? Saturday mornings when the crowd rushes in at 9 o'clock, they come and bring you, some of them, the DXers come straight to your table to drop off cards. And they want them checked. And when you check them, you usually text them back, say, hey, we've got it done. They come by and pick them up. So we need somebody in that capacity to help Bob and Fred. Can I get a commitment from somebody? It's easy. It's an easy job, isn't it? And the rest of the time, when the crowd dies off that afternoon and even Sunday. Oh, okay, to your booth. Okay.
Yeah, Sunday, I'm gonna send folks, I'll put a sign and send them to where we're selling the stuff
Yeah.
and they'll know how to get a hold of myself or Fred to
Right.
check their cards.
Okay.
But Saturday morning is normally the crush. And that's when we could use some help.
So 9 o'clock, would you say 9 to noon? 9 to 11?
9 to noon, 9 to 11. You'll know when we've gotten control of the thing.
Any volunteer? Anybody online? Any volunteers?
It's not
Who
that hard.
all here is going to be at the Ham Fest? Everybody. Do what?
I'm fully committed.
Well, I know some of you guys are committed. I realize that. Some of you have other things.
I don't know how to do it.
All you got to do is sit there.
I'll teach you how.
I thought you had to have a DXCC.
No, you're not gonna check.
You're not
cards.
checking. You're just processing the form
You're just
and
going to
handing
be
them the cards. You do it for an hour? What time?
9 o'clock would be best. 9 to 10.
I can't run around all over the place. I'll hit you with that. I can do an hour. I think I got a form I want to go.
You could have for an hour after that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. We appreciate that.
Okay.
All right. So Mike Rozier will do the first hour and Chris Gibbs the second hour. I think's what I'm hearing. Hey,
We'll train you and then you can train him. Yeah. Show up a few minutes early.
we sincerely appreciate that. You're volunteering. Okay. We need somebody, who's writing the names down? You writing these names down, Bob, for me? Thank you. All right. The next one is the flea market table. Of course, I've done it in the past. I don't mind doing again. I don't want to sit there all 6 hours or whatever it was like I've done before. I'd like to be able to get up and get around. Some people relieved me last year, and thank y'all for doing that. Will AI4QT had sent me a message and mentioned that he would work the table. I don't know how long. Do we have any other volunteers that would be willing to sit there? Anybody can sell any items there? You could do some on Sunday? That would be great. Can you do it when the Ham Fest starts up? Or, okay. I unfortunately, I can't be there Sunday morning. I've got another commitment. You'll do some Saturday? What time? Saturday afternoon? Okay, like what time? You have any idea?
He said 12 to 2.
12 to 2, okay. Bob's got that. All right. Good to see you, Walt. Lost the share again? Okay. The next thing was to the tables and chairs set up. Bob, of course, and I think Don was working, the primary guys working here to set the tables up. I got a message from Bob that the chairs will be set up Friday afternoon now instead of earlier.
Yeah, Gina, who runs the museum now, has two big parties coming in here on Friday morning, then Friday afternoon. And she doesn't want so many people tripping over all the chairs. Each of those parties could be 30 plus each. And so she asked if I could do it after about 2 o'clock on Friday. So 2 o'clock on Friday, we're going to start working on that. And actually, at that point, we can put the tablecloths on. We actually, I don't need so much help at putting the tables up, although they're heavy, but getting the tablecloths and the table decorations looking pretty, getting the tables up here where you want them on the stage.
Okay, so for sure it'll be Bob and Don. Rodney had mentioned something. Where's Rodney? Oh, Rodney had mentioned something about helping out as well as
You can be there at 2 o'clock on Friday, Rodney?
oh, more the merrier. I know Steve probably will be here too, so I'm gonna probably I'll probably be here, but I may be sitting because of my situation. So we'll see how that goes. I do have to bring the equipment down for the flea market sales. So, all right. So I think we got this in taken care of pretty good. Letters to clubs. I've sent letters to the Alabama contest. Oh, I sent it to Larry Cream. Larry sent it to the Alabama contest group. Tennessee contest group. I sent it straight to them. Sent a letter to the Southeastern DX Club out of Atlanta. And so I think that's helped. There's names on the list that I've not even recognized. So I think doing that has helped to get the ticket sales up, which I'm proud of that. Barry, myself, Bob has worked these I call it pre-Hamfest prizes. And now we're going to focus on this right here. Help Steve gather door prizes at the Hamfest and deliver these to this museum here. Steve, I know, has got his QSL checking duties, and I don't know how much other stuff you've got committed. So there's going to have to be some time allocated, or you hand off to some of the guys that are helping you to go beg for prizes.
2 o'clock, I'll try and do that. Usually around 2 o'clock, I'll try and do that. Anyone that's done that in the past with me, you'll learn how to beg. So it's a good experience if you ever have to raise money for anything. Walk fast too. I'm quick at it. And pull a wagon. Yes. Walk fast, pull a wagon, take notes, and learn how to beg.
You need 2 more guys.
Yeah, go ahead, Don.
Also on that, I'm going to be running the museums table. And so what I was thinking we could do there is I can have a tub there that as you go around, if you need to bring stuff back, we can stick it in the tub and that way you can continue. But I'm going to be primarily focused at that table the entire Hamfest
So you're not going to really be able to
I'm not
help
gonna be able
him
to really-
because of that.
because of that.
So what we've got up here is we've got that should have been Steve's call probably too. I failed to put that on there, but
There might be times that I can help because I've got one other person that's going to be at the table there or at the booth as well.
who can help Steve with that? Gathering some prizes. Need 2 more people. Hey, Steve, Mike's had knee surgery replacement just the last few weeks ago, so he's not going to be able to do a lot. So he's gonna. That's why he can help you at the booth by sitting there, but walking around, he's not going to be able to do much of that. Okay. Oh, that'll help a whole lot. Need some couple of people to help Steve.
As far as getting it back to the museum, I can bring anything back to the museum. I'll have my truck down there on Saturday.
Need somebody to take notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll need somebody to take notes on what prizes are being gathered and by which company, which vendor.
Yeah.
Because we do want to recognize those when we draw the when we have the raffle
And
drawing.
the sooner I can get that list, if we get it during the Hamfest day, I can get it into the database and start creating that database. And I can do that while I'm there at the Hamfest.
Oh, okay.
Last paper slips, we have duplicates. We take one of the item and then
we did those paper slips last year. I don't know any other way to do that when you're running around with Steve, except write the stuff down. Then you got to go make a duplicate list. I don't know any other way. Then you obviously can put it in a computer or whatever you want to do, but
Yeah.
but we,
Yep.
and it was handwritten on a tag last year. So every time you took a prize, it was on there for you to announce it.
Right. Yeah, as they're collected, as long as we can get who the vendor was that donated it. Because we're gonna be doing pictures as well, once they're handed out.
Sorry.
So, um, need another one or two people to help. At least one person, got to have a minimum of one more to help Steve, because he can't do it all. He runs from one guy to the next, and you're going to be following, writing down the vendor and the price, so we don't get them all mixed up. And you're going to catch up with him. By the time you catch up with him, he's got one or two in his hand. So you're going to
Somebody writing, somebody running.
keep up with him. It really does need two people. Anybody?
Sheets, is that how you gonna? How do you do it? You run around, you can run around the way.
I think you're going to have a piece of paper or
Yeah,
something.
I think you're gonna need a piece of paper, and I don't know if we want to use like some little adhesive dots or something that you can put on there and a number, and then that reference that to your sheet.
Now, if we have the sheets like you printed out last year, you wouldn't have to have the database. You could just actually take that to the prize and marry it up with it. Y'all do whatever you need to do it, but we need some help.
Can we do a form, and I can just print out a stack of the forms, and then you just fill in the item and, okay.
I'm usually impressed for time, because
You,
you have to take time out of checking cards to run around to get the prizes.
so usually start at 2 and you're done by 3, aren't you? So we're talking an hour. We're only talking an hour.
I'll make sure I got somebody at my booth. And I'll go around too. I'll make sure I got somebody at the booth.
Okay. All right. So we got Chris Gibbs and Don, possibly Don.
Yes, I'll commit to it.
Okay. You'll commit to it?
We
Okay.
need some help.
Chris and Don. If you can't, let me know. And if somebody's there at the table or something where I'm sitting at the flea market, I'll take over. I'll go with you, but
Okay.
I'll kind of be a bouncer type guy as maybe as needed. So, all right. So, the databases, Don and some of you guys or some of us are going to work that to make it work. And the whole goal is, like, if you remember last year, we had a table up front with prizes on it. And we had the bucket that Barry provided with the tickets in it, and they got shook up. I drew a prize, a ticket, and I said, Fred handed me the prize as I was reading out the winner. N4 BCD won $100 gift certificate to DX Engineering. That's just fake now. As an example. So anyway, that's how it kind of works. And we'll just have to figure out the best way to do that.
And so Bruce, this year is different because we're going to take a photo after they get the prize. And where are we doing the photos?
We're thinking we're going to, I don't know how much space. Last year we had tables right up here. I suggest if we have space, I mean, I really would rather pull them off to the side, I think. Have a designated area.
And you don't need to be in the photo. It's just
Need to
them.
be in the photo. I would like to be in the grand prize photo just
Yeah.
for that, but like me and you were last year. That'd be a good picture in the shack. That's right. Right in front of the shack. We might have room right in there. Of course, remember, we got all the food and all that. We've got tables that came all the way out over in this direction over here. So maybe the day of after things set up, we find a designated place, maybe in front of that clock, even over there in that old radio. So and moving on, we'll figure that out. maneuvering the prize, and that's what we're just talking about as well. Register attendees and hand out the badges, name tags, maybe even ticket. I guess the tickets at the same time. I know Bob said that
Check people in when they come in the door.
right, John Stinsley's wife,
Yeah.
right?
Barry Barton wants to give out the tickets for the prizes. So he
Is
just
that-
tears off tickets for the prizes
He wants to sell tickets, and
and he can sell them too. Yeah.
is that right, Barry? Okay.
And then we need,
Well, let me ask you something, the logistics of that. I walk in the door there, I go up to Bridget,
Barry
I-
will be in the,
she'll be up at the table,
the center table up front.
and I say that my name's Bruce Smith, and she's gonna give me a
She's not
name
gonna give you
tag.
anything. She's just gonna say, gotcha, go and see Barry about prizes.
Okay, okay, all right,
And I'll go over that with her.
okay,
And then I would like to have everybody with some kind of name tag.
right, that'd be,
So we'll have name tags away from that a little bit, so you don't have people piling over each other. But most people will have their own name tag.
right,
It would just have them write their own name on it themselves.
okay. Sounds like you got
We
that
need to
worked
keep it
out.
away from the door a little bit.
Okay, sounds like you got that worked out.
So
Barry,
there's-
John.
So
Go
we
ahead,
need to
Fred.
make sure that, Barry, you'll have a list of who pre-purchased their raffle tickets. And then, right, and then if people want to buy some at the door, they can, but they can't buy more than a total of what?
Wait a minute. I thought it was two. It was two per person, right?
Yeah, so if they already bought some, they can't buy more, right?
Right.
We,
No, I thought it was two.
everybody
It's
gets,
two. Yeah.
yeah, everybody got one with their meal and then they could buy up to 2 additional. And so on the list, it'll show how many tickets they got. Right, but I guess what I'm saying is if Steve here
Well,
pre-purchased 2 extra ones, he wouldn't be able to buy 2 more at the door.
let me ask Bob, because he's already got the PayPal list and people have bought some of those raffle tickets. Are they buying only two? And your instructions were, you can only buy two.
It wouldn't let them buy more than.
It won't let them buy more too. Okay. So it is two. Two it is. So it won't let you buy more than two, Bob.
So Bob's sheet is perfect
It's
right now. It says
Okay.
for the person who bought the tickets, how many dinners they got, and then how many total raffle tickets. So
Okay.
every dinner ticket got 1 raffle ticket, and then each person sitting for dinner was able to buy up to 2 additional tickets. So some people it'll say 1 dinner, 1 raffle ticket. Some people might say 1 dinner, 3 raffle tickets because they bought the extra
Bravo.
tickets.
Good, good. So,
Yeah, so you'll need a copy of this. He
So-
emailed it today to
so
Yeah. maximum. Yeah.
maximum of 3,
Not everybody has 3 because they didn't buy the
$5
extra
each
2.
ticket. 5 each ticket. Right.
Right. The third one's the free one that you get with your meal. So every meal gets 1 ticket and then you could buy up to 2 more tickets.
I just want to make sure Barry understands that. I mean, okay. You got the list. You got the list. Okay. Somebody Barry Johnson's going to take the photographs. We mentioned that. Taking notes of this event. Fred, I think he's going to be busy with me on the stage.
What do the notes entail? Is that really just the winners of the prizes?
It's winners of the prizes, anything that, like Minster, if he says something, or,
I can write down the winners of the prizes on the stage because the prizes will have those slips on them. I'll take the slip off and write the call sign of the winner and keep
Okay.
them. And then I can compile them, later.
that's probably as much as we need, because we're not going to really I don't think we're going to have anything specifically about the speaker. Dave Minster might say something, but if he says something, I'll write it in my article, in the long path. So I don't know that, there's really, Bob mentioned that last time, last meeting. Are you thinking of something else, Bob? Is taking copious notes?
He shook his head no.
Okay, I think what we're thinking is good, and we don't need to really worry about this one. Between you and me, but Fred, we've got this taken care of. Running the audio video system, we've given Billy Gold has a ticket, and Billy, you're going to be available, is that right? And he's going to be able to check out the audio video beforehand and make sure it's all working. So that's good. I've contacted ARRL, mentioned that. ARRL directors, I do know that Dave Norris, K5UZ from the Delta Division will be there because I saw his name on Mickey Baker. I did not see his name on there. I asked Bob Interbitson about him, and he said, I would be surprised if he attended. So meaning that it's not going to be here. In any other division type directors, I know Steve will be here, and you're some kind of an ARRL.
A few other sections. Tonight is the first I heard Mickey not coming.
Did you think he's coming?
I have a badge for him.
Well, see, I saw your Hamfest page, and I looked out there and had his name listed, and I'm sitting here, wait a minute, but Bob Interbitson told me this morning that he didn't think he would be here. So
I think we might trust Bob's comment.
So anyway, that's for whatever that's worth. But I'd like to, be able to recognize those that are here at the banquet at least. The decorations, that's part of the table setup, I think. I think Bob said he had that covered. And oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, just one.
For the
ARRL or
for
all
the
these.
VIP table, we need tents, some kind of name
That's
tent.
what I meant.
And I believe we need that there. Just
You want it
reserve.
for each person or just ARRL?
I think we need it for each person. Yeah, Bob can work that. And
Bruce, since there are 6 ARRL people, do we want to spread them out to different tables so that we can harass them?
in a way, I think that would be good because I mean, I had fun last year talking to Roderick and his wife. And I was sitting here thinking that it'd be nice if he could just get to each table, or if there could be some kind of ARRL representation from headquarters, so they can get to know some of our members, and even maybe express some thoughts to them, and they can take them back. So I think that'd be like a
Still
good
need the
idea.
name tags for the table. We'll just spread them out so they're in different
Well,
places.
you might want to put a tent with their name on the table or something, so they'll know
Yeah,
they're sitting there.
that's what I meant.
Do what now?
Mark said they get lonely for each other if they're not. Doesn't matter. It doesn't mean we can't put the name tags somewhere. If they move them, they move them, but we can start with them on different tables.
I'm going to break the precedence, Mark. Y'all can blame me. I'm going to put them on different tables. Event insurance been paid for. Bob's already got that. I've seen the policy. Prize barrel, Barry Barton's got the bucket that we used, I think, last year with tickets in it, the white and red. What were the red and the white? What was one entrance and one we don't need to, we just need one color. Okay.
Oh, the only trick with those tickets, if I remember right, we need to make sure, well, you're giving them out. Yeah. So I think, yeah.
Yeah, the speaker. We need the name tag for the speaker. He'll be sitting at the front desk. Table, yeah.
We'll put Gina James at that front table
Yeah.
and you.
And then the last one here, I hope Chuck's still online. He is, I see him. Young Ham of the Year. Thank you, Chuck, Chuck Lewis, N4NM, working with Stanley Cole on this plaque that we, the NADXC Club, purchased. Chuck's been working with the manufacturer of that. And I think he mentioned it'll be ready to 13th at the latest. So give me a thumbs up or Chuck, or give it. I'll tell you what, Chuck, go ahead and just give us a little synopsis on that status.
Yeah, well, it was pretty simple. I think the name of the company we're getting them from is North Alabama Engraving. They're up on Moores Mill Road. They promised it by the 13th, which is tomorrow. So I expect to be able to go over there and pick it up, and I'll get it to you or whoever between then and Hamfest.
Do we need to get that to Mark Brown because you're going to be presenting the award? Are you presenting the award, or is it Stanley, or who does that?
Well, I'm assuming that this is going to be an announcement on the main stage during Hamfest.
I don't know.
So-
All I know is we sponsored the plaque. We were
Bruce,
asked to
what-
sponsor it, and we've done it.
Why don't we just have it at the DX booth, and then we can give it to the person who needs it, the Stanley or whatever.
Sounds
That way,
I'll do that.
That works. Now, I've never been to that service, Mark. What happens? I mean, who's presenting it to the youth person?
We do not have the Pasternak young ham. She's leaving for Germany or is already there. But this young ham of the year, we've done this in the past, but not every year. And I'm not sure who does the presentation. It could be RMC, it could be Stan.
Let me contact Stanley Cole then and find out the details, and we'll be ready to support how we need to. But I'm like Fred, Chuck, bring the plaque to the booth, the NADXC booth, and we'll get it to who needs it at the appropriate time.
Will do.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Mark.
That's all I have.
Okay. So thanks for doing that. This wasn't too difficult. I mean, it looks like we've got it all covered, I believe. And I appreciate your participation. I know a lot of you guys are committed because you're working the fest too. So thanks for volunteering. I think this was my last slide, wasn't it, Billy? Okay. Well, that's anything we have not discussed about the Hamfest or the NADXC booth or flea market booth. Anything we need to bring up? If everybody will be prepared, coming. I think we all know our duties. We'll be there. Some of us Friday at the fest, moving in equipment and coming here for the tables, and then at the Hamfest, we know our duties that day. I thank y'all each of y'all have to remember who stepped up to the plate. I forgot, so I'm counting on you to help make this a success. Anyway, that's all I want to say. Do I hear a motion to adjourn our meeting so we can get to our program? Mike raised his hand and got a second from Barry. So the meeting is adjourned. And at this time, I'm going to turn it over to AG4W, who I told you earlier is a world traveler, a de-expeditioner, and he's going to fill us in on Friedrichshof Hamfest. So I'm going to put the microphone up here unless you want to. You got a clicker? Here's a clicker right here. Laser and up and down.
Hello. How many of you been to Dayton? That's good. To me, you can't die before you go to Dayton. That's a requirement. If you're a ham, you've got to go to Dayton. How many of you been to Florida, to Hamcation? You know that the the thing that's kind of attractive about Florida is it's a destination city. You go to Disneyland, you can go to the Ham Fest. So you got another excuse to drag somebody down to a Ham Fest. That's pretty cool. Friedrichshafen is in Germany. It's right over the border from Switzerland. To get there, the easiest way from America is to go to Zurich. You fly into Zurich. I stop in St. Gallen in Switzerland on the way there. It's up close to Lake Constantine. It's a fabulous old city. It's just got a lot of cool old stuff in it. I spend the night there, and then the next day you take the ferry over Lake Constantine over to Friedrichshafen, which is right on this giant lake. Friedrichshafen's a really nice city. This happens every year. It's at the end of June. They've got these very, very large halls that I'll show you the insides of it. It's actually at an airport. And the airport's neat because it's where they test the Zeppelins. And the Zeppelins are the big airships. So it's one of the cool things about going to Friedrichshafen. The clicker's not clicking. Oh, there we go. So one of the first things that I learned when I went there in 2019 was if you get there really early to the Ham Fest, you can walk behind where the Ham Fest is, where the airport is, and they drag out the Zeppelin first thing in the morning, and they'll drag it out right in front of you. And when I say right in front of you, it's like from here to the front door. So you got this absolutely giant machine coming right in front of you as they parade that thing out of the hangar. And the reason for that is that they're going to take folks for a ride first thing in the morning there. So it's really cool to see that. I went to Friedrichshafen in 2019 with the express purpose of trying to line up going on de-expeditions and working at major contest stations. And I was successful at that in 2019. I went to D4C and we won Seek Your Worldwide Phone. I also got myself on the Swains Island de-expedition, which I ended up trying to go on for 2 years. And then when they finally did it, I didn't go there because I actually could also go to TJ9MD, which is what I did instead of Swains. And it turned out, at least from my vantage point, to work out better. One of the reasons I went this year is I really liked the Hamfest in 2019 and decided to go back again, take Mary Lou and Michael this time. We stayed at a very small hotel. One thing that you find out about most of the European hotels is they don't have air conditioning. That's one of the downsides of European travel. It gets very hot. There's a few hotels in and around there that are air conditioned, but you've got to book those very, very early. The one we went to was a small one. The public transportation is fantastic in Europe. You can get from the Zurich airport by train to the ferry. Take the ferry across. The bus service around Friedrichshafen is wonderful. You can virtually go to any of the hotels and get to the Hamfest by bus if you need to. One of the things I found out was, it's just like Huntsville. If you show up at a hotel for the Huntsville Hamfest, there's going to be hams there. If you want to ride to the Hamfest, you probably can get a ride with another ham. You may have to take the bus back to the hotel, but you can get to the Hamfest with a ham. I actually went this year with Mike. We went with the guy that was actually running the youth program there at the Hamfest. So that was kind of interesting. Well, wait, why is this not? Okay. Who puts on the Hamfest? Well, it's not the Decatur Amateur Radio Club. It's DARC is really Deutschland, and DARC is, you can think of it as like the German equivalent of the ARRL. Each of the countries in Europe, most of them have an ARRL equivalent. type arrangement. These guys put on the Ham Fest. They do an excellent job of it. It is different in many respects, and we'll talk about the things that are different. One of the things that you first notice is there are no prizes. Can you imagine going to a Ham Fest with no prizes? And not only that, there's not only no prizes at the Ham Fest, there's none at the banquet. So that's one of the first shocks. But there's a lot of things that are different better. One of the things that's the same is Friday. There's a crowd waiting to get in. That's the same at any Ham Fest. You go to Dayton, you got a line as long as you can see. You go to Huntsville here, there's folks standing there waiting for the door to open. We were one of those. Another tradition at Friedrichshafen that I think is pretty cool is they have a QSL wall. This year there were people from 58 countries that went to this Ham Fest. That makes it very special to me. And you know, there's a lot of folks that I've worked in, and it seems like every contest. Some of the folks I almost know when they're going to show up in the contest. Like if I work 160, I know the Japanese guy that's going to show up first thing, the first guy I'm going to hear. If I'm going to hear one, I'm going to hear that guy. So you'll get to see a lot of the folks that you've worked. And that's the other reason you want to go to this Ham Fest. It's the largest one in Europe. It draws from 58 countries. The people that have been there before, and I always bring cards anyway, and you can see mine on the wall there. I got mine up there pretty early when we got in, but this wall is very large. There's literally thousands of QSL cards on the wall. So it's kind of a neat thing just to look at all the different folks that are there. This is another big difference. There's a huge area. And you know, you go to Dayton, you see the big booth for the ARRL. Well, the equivalent of that booth is the DARC booth, which is a large one. But there's many, many smaller booths. You can see this is the ARRL booth. Roderick and Minster sat there, and a couple of the other folks that were there. So you get an idea of the size of their booth. This is the Radio Society of Great Britain. As an example. But not only do you have each of the countries that are there, like the one I'm going with, the DXpedition, MDXC, the Mediterranean DX Club, they had a booth there. So you got a lot of different folks that have booths there, and it takes up a lot of space. So you've got a huge area that's covered with just clubs and international organizations. The flea market is in several buildings, and it the way I describe it is crowded, but they put a lot more space between the rows, which makes it easier to navigate when you've got a lot of folks, and it spreads them out a little bit. The first thing I tell you is the parts selection is absolutely magnificent. I went to Dayton looking for some things this year. One of the things that I absolutely wanted was another surface mount power resistor. Some of you may have read the article I did on a solid state dummy load or a surface mount dummy load. There were none of those at Dayton this year. At least I couldn't find any, and I looked pretty hard. It was very easy to find a significant number of them at the Ham Fest there. To me, as you look at other crazy things, I mean, I know you got me a doorknob capacitor once, John. No problem getting doorknob capacitors. There are tons of them, all different values. And not only small doorknob capacitors, you can get doorknob capacitors that are absolutely enormous. As you can see there, you need, you know, all different kinds of band switches, vacuum variables, relays, tons of microwave stuff. They've got the QO100 satellite, which is the one that's in synchronous orbit. The Europeans love it. And they buy a lot of equipment for that. And so you see a lot of equipment for that. So a lot more VHF, UHF kind of gear. Certainly way more than you'd see at Dayton. You see the usual dealers there. So I don't have pictures of that. The ICOMs, the Yaesus, the Elecrafts, the Kenwoods, all those kind of guys you're going to see there. You see other vendors that you don't see here. One of the things I absolutely thought I'd see at Dayton is there's these Chinese oscilloscopes that have 100 megahertz bandwidth, 1 gigahertz sampling, and you can buy them for $150. I thought for sure people would be selling those at Dayton, and they weren't. You could buy those here. This one I thought was kind of fascinating to me. If you look at that, you'd say that looks just like a Telepost LP100. Boy, does that look close. And it's got a box that looks sort of kind of, and the advertisements look sort. That's a European knockoff of a Telepost. It looked exactly like that, and that guy's in the business of selling those things. As I mentioned, a lot of folks are interested in UHF, VHF. This is a company that sells preamplifiers that are mass mounted. You tend to see a lot more what I call 1-2 product companies. They've got small, Bob's in business selling these preamps. Bruce is in business selling these watt meters. So there's a lot of small companies selling 1 or 2 products. That's the good news. The bad news is I mentioned to Mark, one of the reasons their attendance has actually gone down since I went in 2019. And the reason is the venue is charging way more now in the cost that they charge these small vendors is so high, a number of the small vendors have dropped out. So that's a big problem that they've got to deal with. This is another big difference from some of the other ham fests. Their food is better. You can see Mike got his fill of sausage, wurst, and schnitzel. One of the big differences is that it's a beer garden. As you can see, the people in the background, beer is very prevalent. It changes kind of the whole attitude of a ham fest in the afternoon after the people have partaken of the beer garden. Much like Dayton, if you really look around, you can find a number of museum pieces. One of the things that has changed significantly since 2019, when I went last time, is you used to see a lot of Russian vendors and Russian military hardware. It's surprisingly absent now. Wonder why. You do see the old, and I know that at Dayton you see the Enigma machines. They actually have, and I've got other pictures of it if you wanted to see an extended version of this thing. But the same guy was selling a solid state version of an Enigma machine that actually is what it would be like today, and it's pretty cool. And you could buy it as a kit if you wanted. You could get old telegraph keys, old military hardware, and things like you'd see at this museum. The difference is they're European manufacturers, not U.S. manufacturers. So the thing that he's missing here is the European stuff. They actually built radios over there in that time frame. Hard to believe. That's the rest of the story. One of the other things that I as I mentioned, I drove over there with the guy that worked the youth folks. They called it Ham Camp. There were 77 youth that participated over there, which is a good number. Another thing that came out with the attendance. There were 93 teachers at the Hamfest, which was kind of an interesting thing. They had 110 forums and workshops and exams, things like that. It's a little bit more daunting if any of you have. I've given presentations in Europe before, and if you know, some of them are in German, some are in Italian, some are in English, and so it makes it a little more interesting to try and figure out what it's all about on some of them. But if you're one of the ones that goes to try and learn something, you've got a better chance of learning something because of more forums. So for me, that's important. I obviously go there is one of the main reasons is I'm always in the market for new and interesting de-expeditions, and my experience is a lot more of them are initiated out of Europe instead of the US. If you look at the call signs of the people that are on de-expeditions, and you're going to see way more European participant than US participants. Some of the guys that the first one on the left there is Gudmi from Iceland. He's one of the key guys that's going on the Buffet de-expedition, and those guys had a booth. They were doing what I'm going to do for prizes is beg. And, you know, they've got a $1.6 million de-expedition they're trying to fund, and that's no small amount of begging. Some of you remember Vlad. I went with him to Cameroon, and we roomed together there. He'll be on the expedition with me to Equatorial Guinea. This was a picture. My purpose of this is this fella I knew from TJ9 MD. He did go to Burkina Faso last year, but he's going this year on a French expedition in the Caribbean. This guy's real critical. He lines up most of the French de-expeditions, so I've wanted to become good friends with him, and so that was a nice contact to make. I also talked to a variety of the European superstation people, and I thoroughly enjoyed operating at D4C, and I plan on doing another expedition like that to a different large superstation in Europe. Well, yeah. Okay. The next thing we did was another reason I went is most everyone that's going on the de-expedition to Equatorial Guinea went to the Hamfest, and we all got together for a meal before the Hamfest and talked about various things, and then we got a group photo at the Hamfest here. Our speaker is James, who's in the picture there. He went. So the two US guys both showed up at the Hamfest here. I actually brought a lot of the equipment from DX Engineering that they donated to the Hamfest to give to the guys that are working on the antennas and stuff for the de-expedition. And fortunately, it arrived the day before the night before we left town. I showed up in Germany, and there was no clothes. Mike and Mary Lou had clothes. I had none. Delta Airlines sent my suitcase to Las Vegas. It spent 4 days gambling. And so when I got to Friedrichshafen, the first thing I did was have to go buy some underwear. So that's part of the program of flying Delta. I can tell you, you cannot get a hold of a real human without extraordinary effort. They don't want to talk to you. They don't care. And your ability to shake them down for anything is, I did finally, but it is a really, really tough job. The other reason I like going to this Hamfest, and I did talk to my friend at the ARRL and told him I was damn disappointed that they shut down LOTW the weekend of this Hamfest. That was the absolute wrong thing to do. everyone uses that thing when I walk up to you and I said, oh, I've worked you on 160, and we can look on LOTW and see when we talk to each other. It's used big time at these ham fests, and particularly this one. And what did they do? They shut it down for this weekend. Dumb idea, Dave Minster. And I let him know. Because I know. I know. Yeah, he knows. And so does Roderick. No one ever accused me of being bashful. It's just, it's a funny thing. I got to meet some truly amazing hams. Helmet here, I worked at D4C, and it was great to see him again. This guy is truly magnificent. You can see his call there is 6000. He also, the next day, he wore EX0AA. Some people know him as VK1UN, I believe it is. That guy works for the United Nations, and he's been sent to every really nasty place in the world. He's operated at every nasty place in the world, and he's one of the chief negotiators that tries to make people happy between these countries. So it's probably if Ukraine's involved, and he's not doing it as much anymore, but that guy's really fascinating to talk to. He's got some really fun stories. They do have banquets. I sat across from Paolo. I think that's how you pronounce his name. IK3QAR. He was one of the WRTC guys. The thing that I found fascinating talking to him is he's a dueling CW guy. He is a guy that can work two bands at once on CW, calling CQs, alternating bands. And he showed me his log, and we had some really fun discussions about how to do that for 48 hours and not go completely insane. You've got to be one really well put together guy to pull that off. And the discussion, I don't know whether he could do it with 3 beers, but he can definitely hold his own in a contest. Some of you might find this funny. Hamcation Advertisers over there in the Huntsville Ham Fest was on their table. So we were advertised in Europe. Way to go, Mark. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they're good ambassadors for their ham fest, I can tell you. Some of you have heard about brass pounders. Mike's become part of the Foot Pounders Club. You can see, yeah, a giant wooden keer, floor mounted. So you see some kind of crazy things over there that you wouldn't necessarily see here. The other thing besides the Bavarian contest banquet, there is a DX banquet there. It got sold out fairly quickly. I didn't get a ticket to it. I did go to the restaurant where they had it because it's a fabulous Italian restaurant with fresh pasta. And one of the interesting things is we sat right next to 4 hams from Oman, A41s. I had worked 3 out of the 4 guys before. Mary Lou thought it was just absolutely incredible that you could sit down next to 4 hams from the other side of the world and carry on a conversation like you'd known them for 10 years. And what was even more bizarre is one of the guys I met in a train station 2 days later, and neither one of us could figure out how to buy a ticket. So that was also the only thing that was different was he went away, just absolutely flailing and pissed off. I persevered and figured it out. But I finally got my suitcase. At 9 o'clock, the day before I was leaving the next morning, they dropped my suitcase off after the banquet, and there it is, all busted up. Looked like somebody took a sledgehammer to the top and the bottom of it. It lost. It definitely lost. What was fascinating, in a longer version of this, I can show you the guys from MDXC, one of them, I told them, well, you know, they sold this really good glue at the Ham Fest, and you know, could you run and get some of that glue on Sunday and bring it over to me, and I'll patch my suitcase up a little with the glue, maybe, because it had this filler stuff that I've used before. He said, no, I've got a better idea. I will bring American tape. That's what he called duct tape, American tape. So I duct taped my suitcase completely, and when I brought it up to Delta to fly home, and they said, we can't guarantee this suitcase. I said, well, you broke it. But we can't guarantee it's going to make it back. Well, you didn't guarantee to make it here. But anyway, I was happy to offload the DX engineering stuff, because I didn't want to haul that plus potentially a lot of other stuff in October. So that's kind of the other reason I like going over there is, like I said, I stopped at St. Gallen on the way there. The train system in Europe is absolutely magnificent, I think, everywhere. You can set your watch by them pulling in and out of the stations. Once you get the hang of the trains, it's not very hard. The only thing I found difficult is buying the tickets. They have these machines, and you'd think, well, it's a machine, that ought to be easy. I want to go to this city. But it's all in German. And the instructions of how to do everything's in German. And what makes it more difficult is you know, this is Lake Constantine, so you're going to see some really cool stuff on the way there. I didn't realize, you know, if you're in Austria, you got to buy a ticket on this machine. If you're in Germany, you got to be on this machine. And if you're changing between countries, then you got to figure out what city closest to that you're going to stop at and change to buy the ticket on the other machine. Not quite as simple as you think. Fortunately, the people there, you can usually find somebody young that knows English, that knows the machines really well, and they'll help you buy tickets, and that's how I survived. We went and stopped in Feldkirch, Austria, heading south from Germany by train. We did not go back across on a boat, which I have done before. In Feldkirch, it's another old town. This is St. John's. It's a church built in the 1200s, which is pretty old when you think about what time the US started building things. They have a big castle up on a hill there, kind of neat to see. Then we went south. They've got a fabulous train ride through the Alps, and it's just absolutely to die for. And I wanted Mary Lou and Mike to see that. We stopped and stayed at St. Moritz. That's where the really, really, really good skiers go. It's a super duper resort, extremely expensive if you want to go there in the wintertime. In the summertime, not near as bad. We stayed 2 nights there. This is a picture of St. Moritz at 11,000 feet. I actually sat on that swing, and you can swing over the ledge there at 11,000 feet, kind of cool. One of the things they have inclines and gondolas. We went up 4 mountains. We kind of lucked out. The hotel we'd stayed at in the summer, if you stay 2 nights, you got access to the trains, the buses, and any of the gondola or inclines, and you could use them as much as you want. So we went up 4 mountains, and most of the mountains were either 2 inclines or 2 or 3 gondolas. You can see the span between some of the supports is just unbelievable long. Just the views are magnificent. In the winter, it's skiing. In the summer, you see 2 things: mountain bikers and parasailers. And the parasails will, these guys here are getting ready to jump off the mountain. It's quite a trick to actually just jump off a mountain and hope that the parachute works. You can see the glaciers that are there and are snow covered year round. One thing that I encourage in life in general, and it struck me really interesting when I took the grandkids recently to the Space and Rocket Center here to meet an astronaut, and he signed the picture and wrote "Dream Big," and most people wouldn't even give a thought. You know, you might give a thought to going to Dayton, and you might think that's thinking big or dreaming big, and it is if all you've ever been to is Huntsville. But I think if you set some goals in life and think big, and then the next part is you can't just dream big, you got to make it happen. Or as Nike says, just do it. Now that you're not going to do it all at once, you're going to do it probably a bite at a time. But if you begin with the end in mind and say, you know, if you hadn't been to Dayton, then, you know, you ought to figure out a way to get to Dayton and make that a goal. And if you get to Dayton, then the next step, you know, see what the rest of the world has to offer. And the same thing, you know, I didn't immediately start out with, you know, going on some of these crazy expeditions. I started out and knew that I'd have to work at a multi station first. Get used to working with others and playing with others and winning contests with others and showing that you've got the operating experience. You get that under your belt, that gets you to the next step and the next level, and you just keep working your way up, and pretty soon you can kind of name where you'd like to go, and that's kind of neat then. The other thing I'd say is don't leave everything for retirement. If you leave everything for retirement, I did a lot of scuba diving early on, and I love scuba diving, and I'd still like to do some more. But I know I can't do it every day now, 3 times a day for a week. That would be difficult. And the same thing applies to travel. You know, I was asked to go to Beauvais. Would I do it? Number one, I don't want to spend that much time on a boat that's bouncing up and down it's just a physically very, very demanding thing that you need to do when you're younger. So don't leave everything for retirement, but I'd also say you'd better save for retirement. That's another good hint. They said to keep this short. Has anybody got any questions about Friedrichshafen? It was between 11 and 12,000 was their final attendance number. I've questioned, you know, at any of these Hamfests, how they come up with the attendance number. You know, what are they counting? Are they counting, you know, how are they counting and that sort of thing? I could tell the attendance was less this year than it was in 2019. It was noticeably less, and it's because the cost to the vendors had gone up so much. A lot of the very small guys, they were pushing into buying commercial booths, and they couldn't afford it. And that's a pretty scary thing because you know, all these places, as Mark and I discussed, it's a careful balance between what the guy is going to charge for the facility, and then who do you pass the cost on to it? Is it the people that are coming, the vendors, and But I had asked a number of the long ball hitters, and every one of them said the same thing. And that's a real potential concern that could hurt any of the ham fests that other questions? Oh, it is, I believe it was 20 euros ahead of time. And that was, they had a lot of different ways you could do it. It's a 3-day ham fest, and I went 2 out of the 3 days, just like I do with Dayton. We always go for Friday and Saturday and skip Sunday. I did the same thing here. I went Friday and Saturday, and Sunday we moved on to Austria. This one, 2 days you can see everything. There's obviously some forums and things on Sunday that would be decent, but you could buy a 3-day package that was cheaper than if you bought a 1-day package, as an example. You mentioned languages. I mean, you're in Europe, there's all kinds of countries there. And I can just imagine the utter confusion with the languages. Was there one language, was English kind of the common among them all? Yes. Yeah. English is, there's very few folks that in Europe, particularly the younger folks, English is a very common language for them to learn in school. It's a lot more common for them to learn English than us to learn German or Spanish here. If you walk up to the guy on the street, you're going to have a lot more luck finding somebody that knows English over there, way better than you're going to find somebody here that knows German or French, as an example. The other thing that always speaks is money. It's just amazing. Money always answers a lot of questions. That's everywhere in the world. That works. There's some really fascinating things this time. One of them that I found interesting is here, when you go to a restaurant and you go to pay your bill, you put your credit card on the table and they walk away. You absolutely in Europe don't give anyone your credit card anymore. It's not done. And I suspect you'll see that here when people finally wake up. Because most of the time when your debit card or your credit card number is stolen, it's from a restaurant. And over there, absolutely, there's no place you go, whether you're buying new underwear or buying a meal, they bring a handheld thing to your table. You put the card in, you do the transaction, the card never leaves your hand. And it was interesting when we went out to eat the night before the ham fest, and I was ready to hand my card over to the waiter, and Vlad said, "No, you never give your card to anyone in Europe." And it's true. You don't do that. And I think you'll see that here in a few years. It just cuts way down on theft. I took 2 years of German in high school, and Guten Tag, wie geht es Ihnen? Sehr gut, danke und Ihnen. Yeah. Zug is train. If you go on a de-expedition and you have Germans, Italians, you're going to learn some Italian, you're going to learn some German, they're going to learn some English. It's part of the fun. And a lot of the other thing in terms of communication, it's if they don't know English very well, you just have to slow down how you talk. Because if you talk real fast, it's much harder to understand and for them to figure out than if you talk slower. The other thing that you will find out is that you know, you speak German in Germany, obviously, and Switzerland, Austria, but much like Italy, there's dialects. And the dialects are so strong in Italy from one area to the other. Some of them have trouble understanding themselves. It's absolutely incredible, the difference in dialects in Europe. So you're not just learning a language. It's like folks in Boston or Worcester have a different dialect than in Alabama. And it's other questions. Yes.
Just out of curiosity, how are there a lot of ham fests in Germany or Europe, or is the country more geared to one big one in the year, or do they have them every weekend like we seem to have here?
They do have smaller ham fest, but this is the largest one, and it has the biggest draw. It's the one that if you're interested in learning something, much like, you know, one of the reasons people might come to the Huntsville Ham Fest is the forums that go on. There's good forums at Dayton. They have a lot more forums on a lot wider range of topics. And so you have some advantages at the big one that you get an education. You get a much bigger draw from the other countries. The smaller ham fest, just like if you go to the Coleman Ham Fest, it's got a tiny group. The one in Tullahoma's got a tiny group that it draws from. We'll capture some out of Huntsville, but you don't have the forums. You don't have the huge variety of vendors, and so the scary part that's absolutely scaring the fool out of the Europeans is some of them fear that this one could go away in 2 or 3 years, because if the place just keeps raising the rate and they can't either find a new venue or much like Dayton, to me, that almost was a miracle that they were able to shift that to Xenia and were able to shift all the people that volunteer and manage that whole thing and shift it to a newer venue that probably was relatively low cost and offer free parking and all the things they do. You really don't appreciate the value of something like that and what happens behind the scenes until you see one where it's declining and the folks are trying to figure out, what are we going to do to fix this mess? And it's hard to change venues. It's
one of the things my dad told me was, if you're disabled, they don't give them.
well, that is a
You're not able to get on.
yeah. The European countries are far less disabled friendly on a lot of things. You don't have near the yeah, it's you know, you got ramps and things here, and as he says, when the whistle blows and they give a final whistle, the conductor gives a final whistle, the train's moving whether you're on it or not. If you can't step up onto it, you're going to be left on the side. So it's a
Big scenario.
yeah. Yeah.
All right,
Thank you.
Steve.